Good day, everyone. So our topic for today is all about renewable energy. So when we say renewable energy, it is the energy that is collected from renewable resources that are naturally replenished on a human time scale. It includes sources such as sunlight, winds, the movement of water, and geothermal heat. So solar hydrogen is a kind of renewable energy. When we say solar hydrogen, water can be split into gaseous hydrogen or oxygen. So far, we can create fuel cells where hydrogen and oxygen combine to produce an electrical current, but it is difficult to store enough hydrogen gas in a fuel tank for very long. For example, politics and economics are holding up this technology. R&D from government needed must convince energy companies and investors to dollars into this type of power and phase out fossil fuels, must convince public to change over. Solar hydrogen is a device for artificial photosynthesis that produces photohydrogen directly from sunlight and water vapor utilizing photocatalytic water splitting, and thus bypasses the conversion losses of the classical solar hydrogen energy cycle, where solar power is first harvested with solar panels and only then converted to hydrogen with electrolysis plants. In the solar hydrogen panel, the hydrogen and oxygen evolution reactions are performed in the gas phase in cathode and anode compartments separated by a membrane. Anion exchange membranes provide an alkaline environment, enabling the use of earth-abundant materials as electrocatalysts. Solar hydrogen energy cycle is an energy cycle where a solar-powered electrolyzer is used to convert water to hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen produced thus are stored to be used by a fuel cell to produce electricity when no sunlight is available. So, photovoltaic array is the reason why solar energy is transferred. So how does photovoltaic array system produce electricity? Here's a tip. When a photon hits a photovoltaic device, its energy is transferred from the photon to the local electrons in the material. These excited electrons begin to flow, producing an electric current. Hydroelectric power plants is a kind of renewable resources. A dam is built across a large river to create a reservoir. The higher the head, the greater the amount of power that can be generated. Water is stored in a reservoir during low electricity production. Water is released and flows are controlled as electricity demands peak. Water spins the turbines in the powerhouse. Electricity is distributed to end user. Examples are Aswan High Dam at Egypt and Colorado River Basin at USA, Mexico. Advantage of hydropower: it is inexpensive. In the long run, hydropower is inexpensive. This may not seem so, as there are high costs associated with its production, but it is one of the most inexpensive renewable energy sources over time. The disadvantage of hydropower is hydroelectric power plants can be affected adversely by the environment. Hydropower is a renewable source of energy, but there are usually environmental impacts associated with building the power plants. Most important of all is the pumped storage of hydropower, which can affect the natural flow of the river system. Hydropower or hydroelectric power, also known as water power, is the use of falling or fast-running water to produce electricity or to power machines. This is achieved by converting the gravitational potential or kinetic energy of a water source to produce power, just like the illustration below. So how hydropower works? A conventional dam holds water in a man-made lake or reservoir behind it. When water is released through the dam, it spins a turbine connected to a generator that produces electricity. Tidal power created from tidal energy. Tidal energy is a form of power produced by the natural rise and fall of tides caused by the gravitational interaction between Earth, Sun, and Moon. Tidal currents with sufficient energy for harvesting occur when water passes through a constriction, causing the water to move faster. Advantage of tidal power is clean and compact. Tidal power is a non-green energy source, at least in terms of emitting zero greenhouse gases. It also doesn't take up that much space. The disadvantage of tidal power is lack of research. While the true effects of tidal barrages and turbines on the marine environment have not been fully explored, there has been some research into how barrages manipulate ocean levels and can have similar negative effects on hydroelectric power. So how much energy can tidal power produce? Electrical generation potential. The total energy contained in tides worldwide is 3,000 gigawatts to billion watts, though estimates of how much of that energy is available for power generation by tidal barrages are between 120 and 400 gigawatts, depending on the location and the potential for conversion. Biomass, organic matter in plants produced through photosynthesis and can be burned directly as a solid fuel or converted into a gas or liquid fuel. So biomass is organic, meaning it is made of material that comes from living organisms such as plants and animals. The most common biomass materials used for energy are plants, wood, and waste. Examples are burning wood. Number 2 is agricultural waste, such as bagasse, sugarcane residue, or straw. Number 3, urban waste, such as burning garbage. Biofuels, such as biogas, a mixture of 60% methane and 40% of carbon dioxide. Liquid ethanol, such as grain alcohol, sugar, grain, mixed gasoline, and ethanol or gasohol, which can be burned in conventional gasoline engines, super unleaded. And lastly, liquid methanol, wood alcohol. As you can see, these are examples of biomass that I was stated lately. The advantage of biomass is always and widely available as a renewable source of energy. The organic materials used to produce biomass are infinite, since our society consistently produces waste such as garbage, wood, and manure. The disadvantage of biomass energy is not as efficient as fossil fuels. Some biofuels like ethanol is relatively inefficient as compared to gasoline. In fact, it has to be fortified with fossil fuels to increase its efficiency. Geothermal energy, heat contained in underground rocks and fluid that can be tapped for energy. Mixture of dry steam, wet steam, or hot water and can be used to heat space or water. Potentially renewable resource. 22 countries currently use geothermal. It supplies 1% of world energy. In the USA, 44% geothermal energy produced worldwide. Geothermal electricity is produced mostly in Hawaii, California, Nevada, and Utah. Geothermal energy is heat energy from the earth. Geo means earth and thermal means heat. Geothermal resources are reservoirs of hot water that exist or are human-made at varying temperature and deep below the earth's surface. The advantage of geothermal is environmentally friendly. Geothermal energy is more environmentally friendly than conventional fuel sources such as coal and other fossil fuels. However, the disadvantage of it is location restricted. The largest single disadvantage of geothermal energy is that it is location specific. Geothermal plants need to be built in places where the energy is accessible, which means that some areas are not able to exploit this resource. Solutions for sustainable energy. Improve energy efficiency. increase local availability of renewable energy resources, find transitional resources such as natural gas or nuclear. Government must promote R&D for alternative renewable energy resources. Educate the public. All energy resources should compete in an open, free market with no government control. Government needs to implement constructive subsidies, not destructive subsidies, to promote change. This will lead to conservation of resources and less overconsumption.